Hello everyone, welcome to my next video of linear and non-linear programming and introduction. I am Professor Pankaj Sharma from Sagar Institute of Science, Technology and Engineering, Department of Electrical Engineering, Bhopal. In this video, we are going to have an introduction of linear and non-linear programming, some basic fundamentals of flowchart of analysis and synthesis method. The content of this video is, first of all, we'll have introduction of linear programming. Then we'll have types of problems, the size of problems, iterative algorithms and convergence, basic properties of linear programs, its introduction, examples of linear programming problems. Dear students, linear programming is without doubt most natural mechanism for formulating a very wide range of problems with modest effort. A linear programming problem is characterized, as the name itself implies, by linear functions of the variables or unknowns. The motto, the objective is linear in the unknowns, and the constraints are linear equations or linear inequalities in the variables or unknowns. One familiar with other branches of linear mathematics might suspect initially that linear programming formulations are popular because the mathematics is very simpler, very beautiful. The theory is richer and the computation simpler for linear problems than for non-linear ones. But in fact, these are not the primary reasons. In terms of mathematical and computational properties, these are much broader classes of optimization problems than linear programming problems, that have elegant and potent theories and for which effective algorithms are available for us. The popularity of linear programming lies primarily with the formulation phase of analysis rather than the solution phase, and for good cause. For one thing, a great number of constraints and objectives that arise in practice are indisputably linear. Therefore, for example, if one formulates a problem with a budget constraints restricting the total amount of money to be allocated among two different commodities, the budget constraints takes the form x1 plus x2 lesser than equal to b, where x1 comma I is equal to 1 comma 2. We'll see this in detail in later on in this video. Coming to types of problems, there are its parts. The parts which I have discussed, the first one part I have discussed just right now, the linear programming, unconstrained problems and constrained problems. The last two parts arise from non-linear programming. The linear programming gives you constraint programming, constraint problems. Let's have a very crisp definition of linear programming. It is characterized by linear functions of the unknowns or variables. The objective is linear in the unknowns, and the constraints are linear equalities or linear inequalities. There is one question which is very widely asked, that is, what are the reasons that linear forms for objectives and constraints widely popular in problem formulation? The answer is a very large number of constraints and objectives that arises in practice are indisputably linear. That is, for example, budget constraint. They are most of the time least difficult to define. What are unconstrained problems? Unconstrained problems are unconstrained problems devoid of structural properties as to preclude their applicability as useful models for meaningful problems. If the scope of a problem is broadened to the consideration of all relevant decision variables, there may then be no constraints. Many constrained problems are sometimes easily converted to unconstrained problems. It may seem that unconstrained optimization problems are so devoid of structural properties as to preclude their applicability as useful models of meaningful problems. Quite the contrary is true for two reasons. The first one is it can be argued quite convincingly that if the scope of a problem is broadened to the consideration of all relevant decision variables, there may then be no constraints, or put another way, constraints represent artificial delimitations of a scope, and when the scope is broadened, the constraints vanish. Thus, for example, it may be argued that it may be argued that a budget constraint is actually not characteristic of a very meaningful problem formulations, as by borrowing at some interest rate, it is always possible to have or obtain additional funds, and hence rather than introducing a budget constraint, a term reflecting the cost of funds should be actually incorporated into the objective. A similar argument applies to constraints describing the availability of other kind of resources which at some cost could be supplemented. The second reason that many important problems can be regarded as having no constraint is that constrained problems are actually sometimes easily converted to unconstrained problems. For instance, the sole effect of equality constraint is simply to limit it. Many complex problems cannot be directly treated in its entirety accounting to all possible choices, but instead must be decomposed into separate sub-problems. In spite of many arguments given, many problems met in practice are formulated as constraint problems. This is because in most instances, a complex problems such as, for example, the detailed production policy of a giant corporation, the planning of a large government agency, or even the design of a complex device cannot be directly treated in its entirety accounting for all possible choices, but instead must be decomposed into separate problems, each subproblem having constraint and are imposed to restrict its scope. Thus, in a planning problem, budget constraints are commonly imposed in order to decouple that problem from a couple of more global one. Therefore, one frequently encounters general nonlinear constraint mathematical programming problems. Now let us see the size of problems. There are three classes of problems: a small scale, the second one is intermediate scale, and the third one is large scale. A small scale means 5 or fewer unknowns and constraint. Intermediate scale from 5 to 100 variables. Large scale means from 100 to 1000 variables. Size of problems is actually one obvious measure of the complexity of a programming problem in its size, measured in terms of number of unknowns, variables, or the number of constants. As might be expected, the size of problems can be effectively solved has been increasing with advancing computing technology day by day and with advancing theory. Today, with present computing capabilities, however, it is very much reasonable to distinguish three classes of problems as stated in this slide. Iterative algorithms and convergence. Most algorithms designed to solve large optimization problems are iterative. One of the basic meaning of iterative is the repetition of work. For LP problems, linear programming problems, the generated sequence is of finite length, reaching the solution point exactly after a finite number of steps. For non-linear programming problems, the sequence generally does not ever exactly reach the solution point but converges towards it. The theory of iterative algorithms can be divided into three aspects. The first is concerned with the creation of the algorithms themselves. Algorithms are not conceived arbitrarily but are based on a creative examination of the programming problem, its inherent structure, and the efficiencies of digital computers. The second aspect is the verification that a given algorithm will in fact generate a sequence that converges to a solution point. This aspect is referred to as global convergence analysis. Since it addresses the important questions of whether the algorithm, when initiated far from the solution point, will eventually converge to it or not. The third aspect is referred to as local convergence analysis or complexity analysis and is concerned with the rate at which the generated sequence of point converges to the solution. One cannot regard a problem as solved simply because an algorithm is known which will converge to the solution, since it may require an exorbitant amount of time to reduce the error to an acceptable tolerance. It is essential when prescribing algorithm that some estimation or estimate of the time required be available. A modern day technical version of Confucius' most famous saying, and one which represents an underlying philosophy of this concept, is one good theory is worth 1,000 computer runs. Iterative algorithms and convergence, which is being continued from the last slide, is the creation of the algorithm themselves, the verification that a given algorithm will in fact generate a sequence that converges to a solution. That point I have explained just right now. Convergence rate theory. The theory is for the most part extremely simple in nature. A large class of seemingly distinct algorithms turns out to have a common convergence rate. Linear programming problems standard form. This is the standard form of linear programmings. Minimize the expression c1 x1 plus c2 x2 plus cn xn. c1 c2 cn are the coefficient of the variable x1 x2 xn. There is n number of variable in the form of x. It's a linear, the power is 1. We have to minimize this statement, this problem, this expression, mathematical expression, which suggests some problem subject to, the condition is given, subject to a11 x1 plus a12 x2 plus a1 n xn is equal to b1, a21 x1 plus a22 x2 plus a2n xn is equal to b2, and the lastly am1 x1 plus am2 x2 plus amn xn is equal to bm, and x1 is greater than equal to 0, x2 is greater than equal to 0, and likewise xn is greater than equal to 0. This is the standard form. Minimize CT x subject to ax equal to b and x is greater than equal to 0. Here x is an n-dimensional column vector, CT is an n-dimensional row vector, and A is an m cross n matrix and B is an m-dimensional column vector. CT is your transpose of matrix C or vector C. Let us take an example of slack variable. Minimize c1 x1 plus c2 x2 plus cn xn subject to a11 x1 plus a12 x2 plus a1n xn lesser than equal to b1, a21 x1 plus a22 x2 plus a2n xn lesser than equal to b2, and the last row is am1 x1 plus am2 x2 plus amn xn lesser than equal to bm, and it is also given that ax1 greater than equal to 0, ax2 is positive greater than equal to 0, axn is greater than equal to 0. Minimize c1 x1 plus c2 x2 plus cn xn subject to a11 x1 plus a12 x2 plus dot 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 a1n xn plus y1 is equal to b1, a21 x1 plus a22 x2 plus dot 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 a2n xn plus y2 is equal to b2, amn x1 plus am2 x2 plus dot 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 amn xn plus ym is equal to bm, and y1 is greater than equal to 0, y2 is also greater than equal to 0, and likewise ym is also greater than equal to 0, and x1 is greater than equal to 0, x2 is greater than equal to 0, likewise xn is greater than equal to 0. Let us take example number 2 of free variables. X1 is free to take an either positive or negative values. We then write x1 is equal to u1 minus b1, where u1 greater than equal to 0 and v1 greater than equal to 0. Substitute u1 minus v1 for x1, then the linearity of the constraints is preserved and all variables are now required to be non-negative. There is one problem, the diet problem. We assume that there are available at the market n different foods and that the ith food sells at a price Ci per unit. In addition, there are m basic nutritional ingredients, and to achieve a balanced diet, each individual must achieve at least bj units of the jth nutrient per day. Finally, we assume that each unit of food I contains AGI units of the jth nutrients. The diet problem, which is similar to the examples we considered in previous slides, we have to minimize the same structural statement subject to the same structure. You can see this. Now the transportation problem. Quantities A1, A2 and AM respectively of a certain product are to be shipped from each of M locations and received in amounts B1, B2, BY respectively at each of N destinations. Associated with the shipping of a unit of product from origin I to destination J is a unit shipping cost Cij. It is desired to determine the amounts xij to be shipped between each origin destination pair, that is I is equal to 1 to m is equal up to m, j is equal to 1 to up to n. The transportation problem could be modeled like similarly: minimize sigma Cij Xij ij subject to sigma j is equal to 1 to n, Xij is equal to ai for I is equal to 1 comma 2 comma up to m. Dear students, this is generalized computer-aided design process. In detail we'll have in the next video. This is actually flowchart of design of generalized computer-aided design process. We'll have all the explanation of this in my next video. Till this video you just have to read up to this point.